United beat Nottingham Forest 2-0, and we looked at this fixture with the amount of injuries and United stuttering lately and going, this could be a potential banana skin, if you like. We had Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof in the team, Diego Dallo at left back, and we were kind of thinking that defence doesn't fill me with confidence. But, I mean, eventually United settled into the game, and one player that kind of stood out, really, probably one of his best games at United shirt, was Antony. He's had a lot of stick, hasn't he, since he come to the club? He had an explosive start, but he's gone, I think, 6 games without a goal for the club now. So he was overdue a goal. He has a lot of tricks in his bag, and I think that's why the opinions divided, for neutrals especially. But as a United fan, do you feel like he's kind of slowly proved himself and justified his price tag with this performance?
Yeah, he's got a long way to go to prove his worth, I feel. We've seen glimpses of it. Obviously, he's had a lot of flack. I think if you make in comparison with one particular other English player who went for obviously a sizable sum as well, who plays over the road. Obviously, one's English. They've similar sort of statistics as well, actually. So the Brazilian one, the one who's obviously got all the frills and bits and bobs, and is not the finished article, is the one who gets most of the criticism. But yeah, he needs time. He needs time to settle. When you look at Grealish this season, for instance, and he is looking like the player that we've seen him in the past. Yeah. Antony's come into a new country, new, obviously, environment, completely different surroundings. But in the last 2 or 3 games, he has looked, he's looked a lot more threatening. He's looked more decisive in some of the movements and the decisions that he's making on the pitch. I do think he'll be a success at United, but it's not going to be... It actually reminds me a little bit of Nani when he was at United quite a few years ago. It took a while actually for him to kind of make an impact, and actually in the end, he was became a really good player. But a lot of it is the money, really. That's what it comes down to. People are expecting, obviously, someone gets £80 million spent on them, they need to come in and hit the ground running straight away. But you look at, obviously, what he did in this game. I thought, the first goal following in at the back post, it's something that doesn't happen enough this season. You see some of the teams, a lot more successful teams in this league. You look at Man City do it every single week. It's just emotion for them that's just natural to them now. It doesn't happen enough. It doesn't happen enough at United. I feel like a lot of our wide players, especially, they literally get caught sort of on the heels in the 18-yard box, and they're not following in. So it was good to see that happen. And then obviously his play and his little dribble towards the box and playing Dallo in, which was a brilliant ball. I thought it was a really encouraging performance, and let's see what happens here until the end of the season.
Yeah, I think a goal and an assist, it's one of those things that gets held against attacking players, isn't it? Those kind of stats. But he needed that, I think. And I think he's got 85% pass accuracy for the game. He had 7 shots, I think. So he was a constant threat. Miles, are you seeing a player that has the kind of potential to maybe justify that price tag long term? Because, I mean, it is about end product. Can he do this continually? I think Eric Ten Hag's compared him slightly to Arjen Robben in the way he cuts in and shoots. He does it a lot. But sometimes it comes off, and that's where it really shows its worth to the team.
Yeah, I think I'm one of few neutrals that's actually really enjoyed watching Antony this season. I love a player like this. I think it's nice to have that flair in your team. And I think realistically, I mean, you guys might know the numbers, but I saw them the other day. I think realistically, if you'd said to any United fan, be reasonable. I understand that it's a lot of money and you have to take that on board. A young lad moving from the Eredivisie from Brazil as a winger, what numbers would you be happy with in his first season at Man United? That's a question that you might ask yourselves. Well, he's got 10 goals and 3 assists this season so far. That's not a bad output, really. That's decent numbers. And I think he'll improve that before the end of the season too. It is funny because he is one of those typical players who likes to cut inside, where that is always what he's going to do. He is forever going to come onto that left foot. A defender should know that. But him timing when he releases the ball is the thing that makes the difference. If you look at the Dallo goal, for example, he kept cutting inside, defenders followed him. It looked like he was going to play the ball or shoot 4 times before he eventually played the pass. And that's where the unpredictable part comes in. And that's very clever. I think it's fine to have a player who is given a season to adapt. We talked not last week, the week before, about Grealish, as Dave mentioned. We've seen it with other players that have brought into the league, or even just move sides. It takes time sometimes to become part of a system. Now, Antony has the advantage of coming from a Ten Hag system to a Ten Hag team, but it's still a completely new set of circumstances. And I actually think we've seen a lot from him to really enjoy. It's silly to ridicule a player for doing tricks if they don't always work. You don't want to take that out of the game. We watch football for beautiful, perfect moments where we all go, wow, I can't believe that came off. If you push a player to stop doing that, then we lose the fun and the entertainment from it. And actually, Antony has provided plenty of that this season. I think he'll continue to do that for United for a long time.
Absolutely well said. I think he has this trick, and Robin used to do it to great effect. But you say it's predictable, but it's only predictable if you can stop it and do something about it. Otherwise, it's a trick that no one can deal with. Therefore, it's a weapon, and I can see it being a weapon. He's had a lot of shots in that same situation that have gone wide or haven't quite been on target. And there'll be a season where finally that clicks and his technique pays off, and he'll be training that motion so much that he'll score a few goals from those positions. That's what I'm waiting for.
Obviously, that worldie against City early in the season.
Beautiful goal. Yeah, and the thing is, with a trick like that cutting inside, people are quite quick to go, oh, it's so obvious that he's going to do that. The defender should be able to defend it quicker. But the thing that Robin always had, and Antony has too, is the pace at which they do that. You've got to remember, if you're a defender trying to hold that off, you've got your back to goal and someone is running directly at you. You're not moving at the same pace as them at that point. You're kind of standing your ground, trying to shield a position. They are moving far quicker, and it's much easier for Antony to accelerate to the left than it is for a defender to pick up that pace and follow him. So it does open up space for him still. And Antony finds that space and creates it really, really well. And the longer he's in the league and the longer he's in that team, the better his understanding and his connection with his teammates will be to do that. He's maybe a little bit selfish sometimes, but the fact that he got an assist in this game will be a big boost for that. He's seen the positive output from him looking for a teammate. And Diogo Dalot got his first Premier League goal. Worth mentioning that too.
On his 100th appearance as well, so long overdue.
Yeah. I didn't realise it was 100. That's good.